Hey guys, Jay here and welcome to another cosplay tutorial. Today I'm going to be making the shoulder armor for my Genesis costume from Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. So at the very end I am going to show you how I attach these. I don't show that in the actual tutorial part of the video, so I'll do that afterwards with some B-roll to show you how I attached them. But there's a number of different ways that you can do that, and I'll give you a bunch of different options at the end. Also, if you'd like to make these for yourself, there is a template on my website which you can get to down in the description. So let's get started. To start, I actually cut off the crappy pleather armor that came with the costume, and used that as a template. I used it to also make the digital template on my website. Anyway, I traced it out onto 10mm EVA foam. When I cut along the edge that is the center seam where the two halves will meet up, I did so at a 90-degree angle, but the rest of the piece was cut at a 45-degree angle, or as close as I could get, with the blade pointing into the pattern. This made it so that the side of the foam that was facing up in the video here is actually the inside of the armor, because I wanted this slope on the outside, and I did this 4 times with 2 being mirrored. I used a heat gun and a planisher that I made to heat form the pieces to give them a large curve along the length. This will help them glue together better without fighting to be straightened back out. For glue, I used contact cement to attach the two halves together along the 90-degree cut edge. And normally I would use 2 coats of glue because the first one soaks in too much, but I actually needed 3 coats for this one to get it to stay together. Also, remember to wear a respirator for both this and the heat forming. Both will let off fumes that can cause damage to your insides. After the glue was almost dry and just barely tacky, I could stick the halves together. This was a little annoying, but all shoulder armor that's 2 halves like this are. They fight with you to not work, but I did get it to work. Once all of that was good, the next day I went over the sloped edge with a Dremel and a sanding drum. The 45-degree angle wasn't large enough and I needed to make it even more sloped, so I did. Once I was happy with the slope, I used a 15mm foam half dowel, which is factory cut to have a clean edge, and superglued it along the slope. This is why I added the slope in the first place. The angle that it gives makes the dowel look like a rounded wrapped edge without actually wrapping it. And every time I got to a corner, I would cut the half dowel in a way that when you glued the next section on, it would at least look kind of nice. I don't really know how to explain this, but you can do it however you want. Once that was done, I moved on to painting. I used black Plastidip to seal the foam, and matte black brush-on acrylic paint for the black color, and silver brush-on for the dowel. I also didn't mask off the black because it was actually faster to just use more black paint if I got any spillover from the silver. Also, tape likes to really just stick to matte paint and peel it back up, so it stops that from being a possible issue. There are 4 little rivets on each side of the armor, making 8 on each armor itself and 16 in total. You can use whatever you want, but I found these thumbtacks that had a plastic cover over the head, and I painted them first with the same black that I used on the armor, and then the same silver. I carefully figured out where to put the tacks into the foam to mimic the rivets, and stabbed them into place. The needle part of the tacks is nowhere near long enough to poke through. The foam is 10mm thick, and the tacks and needles are about 6mm, so they have no possibility of stabbing me. I also didn't glue them into place because they stay just fine, but you might need to glue whatever you use, so if you have to, do that. And I actually haven't done this part yet, but I will. I'll be using matte clear coat over the entire armor for finishing. And with that, they're done. Alright, so that is how you make the shoulder armor for Genesis Rhapsodos from Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. Now, at the beginning I did mention that I'll talk to you about how I attached these to my costume, as well as a few different ways that you can do it for your costume if you don't want to do it the same way as I did. I'll get more B-roll of this and show you close-up and stuff while I'm talking about it, but these pivot on a single snap. So these have a little snap here, and a little snap inside or whatever on this part of the shoulder, and then they just clip together. So it's a little hard to do. I'm gonna have like friends help me or something when I start putting it on in like the hotel and stuff for the conventions. But yeah, that's how they go on, and they actually move around easily, so I have full movement. and it makes it easier for me to not break them off. I can actually totally go up really high before these start to want to come undone. In fact, yeah, you see that? That's how far they went before they came undone. So now I gotta put this back on. All right. So a couple other ways that you can put these on. You could do what I did on my Cloud cosplay. One sec. There's these parachute clips. They're the same as the child safety belt thing inside of a shopping cart. So I just use those, and they're going through holes in the shoulder pad here, and they're just sewn down. So these clip into the other half that are glued to the armor, which the armor is buried, so I'm not gonna go look for that. But you can obviously tell what this is. You can tell what kinds these are and how they work, and then that just holds the shoulder armor on. You could do that up here and put one that like hooks in under here somewhere. That's a possibility. Another possibility is Velcro. You could do a Velcro strip that sets this down, or even puts this down on the front and back of your shoulder, or something. I don't really know. But in the game, Genesis's armor does move like this. Like, it's definitely only attached up here. So that's canon is what I'm doing. Well, it's not really canon because I don't know how they attach to his exactly, but the way they move and stuff is actually in the game how they move. So, but you could do that where you have these parachute clips, which will also give it the same movement, but they won't snap off like these ones will, because these ones will obviously, like I showed you, you go high enough and they'll unsnap. These clips don't do that because you have to physically unhook them. The problem with these is you might be able to see them. You might be able to see the straps. So you have to make it like really far into here, and that might make it a little harder to move around in. I'm not 100% sure because I didn't do it, so I don't know. If anyone wants to do that and let me know in the comments or something, that'd be nice. But yeah, so those are just a few different ways that you could put this down onto the jacket. But if you come up with another way, and it's something completely different that I didn't say, go ahead and leave that in the comments as well, so that if somebody else might want to know a different method that like they can't figure out how to get any of these to work correctly the way they want it to, or they don't want to damage the top by putting a button in there, or a snap or whatever in there or something, and they want something that's more removable, or I don't know, whatever, go ahead and leave that in the comments so that people can find those, and I will heart all of them. Hopefully that'll help. And if someone has like really good ones, I might just pin that one to the top so that everybody could see it. For if someone does that, where they have like a list of alternative ways to attach this that would really benefit everybody, that will definitely get pinned to the top so that everybody can see it. And that is going to be the end of this video. So if you like it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later.